I'd like to call the Westmont Village Board meeting of July 6, 2017 to order at 6 o'clock p.m. and ask Clerk Simsky for roll call, please.
Mayor Gunther.
Here.
The clerk's here. Trustee Addington.
Here.
Trustee Barker.
Here.
Trustee Berry's absent. Trustee Guzzo.
Here.
Trustee Little.
Here.
Trustee Nero.
Here.
Village Manager May.
Here.
Attorney Zemanek.
Here.
Finance Director Parker.
Here. Would everybody please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening and welcome. At this time, is there anybody here who has an item that's not on the agenda that you'd like to discuss with the board during the open forum portion of the meeting? Seeing none, I'll close the open forum and move on to reports. And it's always my pleasure to have the opportunity to call Chief Gunther to the podium to swear in a new officer.
Thank you, Mayor. Tonight we have a very festive occasion. We have the swearing in of our newest officer. It's always great to increase the ranks of the Westmont Police Department. And tonight we have Officer Mark McCann. And as an acknowledgement, we have to introduce the dignitaries in the room, and that would be Mark's parents, Michael and Mary Lynn, and their daughter, but Mark's sister, Kate. So if Officer McCann would please rise.
If you could raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Mark McCann,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the laws of DuPage County,
the laws of DuPage County,
the Westmont Village Code of Ordinances,
the Westmont Village Code of Ordinances,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties for the office of patrolman
the duties for Office of Patrolman
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Welcome.
We're happy to have you join us. Welcome.
And now for the pinning of the badge. A couple side notes for Officer McCann. Anytime we add to the police department, it's always great to cover the testing process and the hiring, and the as you heard at the Public Safety Committee meeting prior, that the requirements to be a police officer in any jurisdiction, and certainly in Westmont, are stringent and very difficult. I would certainly like to thank the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners, who are really the gateway to who they allow into the community as your police department and police officers. So Chairman Cavanda and Member Musial are here tonight. You're dual rolling as a secretary as well? That's Chairman? Okay, so he only gets paid once though. So the Fire and Police Commission do work very hard. This is, as you heard earlier, this is it's a hard process. It's a process that we're now going through once again with the establishment of another eligibility list. So they are working on that, as well as also going to be testing for the rank of, creating an eligibility list for the rank of sergeant as well this year. So really they're double duty in 2017. They're very busy, and I can't thank them enough for their effort and energy that they put forth for the hiring of police personnel. With that, I would like to say a couple things about Officer McCann prior to him engaging the board. Officer McCann was hired on March 27th of this year. He attended the Suburban Law Enforcement Academy, which is at the College of DuPage. He graduated on June 23rd, and I was currently in the field training phase as he progresses through, the stages of education to become a police officer. So with that, I will turn the floor over to newly minted Officer McCann for a couple words of wisdom, hopefully.
Good evening. First, I would like to thank the Village of Westmont, the Westmont Police Department, and the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners for giving me the opportunity to serve in this great community. I came from a family of 5, a brother who works for the Homewood Fire Department, and a younger sister who is currently a college student at Northern Illinois University studying elementary education, my father, who is a social worker, my mother, who is a nurse. I grew up in the neighboring community of Downers Grove, attended Downers Grove South High School, and I come from a family whose jobs involve public service. So I decided that my calling was in police work. I attended Western Illinois University and graduated with a bachelor's degree in law enforcement and justice administration and a minor in homeland security. While in college, I interned with the Illinois State Police, and after college, I worked private security for about 2 years prior to being hired on by Westmont Police Department. Again, I want to say that I'm very appreciative of the opportunity you have given me. I also would like to take a moment to thank my family and friends for their continuing support. As one of the coordinators at the Suburban Law Enforcement Academy said, "You're the police now, and that's pretty cool." I'm excited to be a member of the Westmont family. I will not let you down. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like Larry to get the family and let them take a couple pictures with, in front of the board. I didn't say you, Jim. No, you. Yeah. I think it's nice that the family, come on up.
And as tradition, we do have cake and coffee available after the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good.
All right, moving on. I got a couple other items under my report, and I would hope everybody here attended the 4th of July celebration we had at Ty Warner Park. It ended up being a beautiful day, and I guess if you guesstimate the numbers, you're getting between 10 and 15,000 people attended. That's truly a community celebration that's put on by the Park District, the Village of Westmont, the Lions Club participate, so it really is a community event. Earlier that day, we had the pleasure of renaming one of our parks. Diane Main, who's been a commissioner at Westmont Park District for 38 years, has served as president, has been involved in the state association. She does volunteer work at her church, at the Girl Scouts, and we felt it appropriate, the Park District, and with my help, we had a ceremony to name Twin Lakes Park the Diane Main Park. So from now on, it's going to be known for Diane Main. So I just want to make sure I recognize her for her accomplishments. And then for our sister city update, I'll ask Larry to give everybody an update.
Thank you, Mayor. As we reported the last few meetings, we had to postpone our signing ceremony, which originally was scheduled for July 4th, but we're now looking at dates in August. If I had to guess, by this time next week, we'll have that locked in as the official date and time, but we're probably looking at the second Monday of the month, and as far as we know, it's a very unique situation to have a cyber signing ceremony, and so that's what we're planning to do, and look forward to details coming soon. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to Clerk Simsky.
I want to remind everybody that the community garage sale dates are August 4th, 5th, and 6th. So if you're interested, get on the list. Secondly, I, like you, want to commend, the fireworks were out of this world. And it's wonderful that you named that park after Diane May. She definitely deserves it. She's been a terrific Park District Commissioner for, as you said, 38 years.
Yep.
That's a long time. And I think that for the most part, a Holy Trinity member died, or his wife died, Charlie Pipek. His wife Loretta died, and there will be a memorial service on Saturday at 10:30 a.m. at Holy Trinity. So I wanted to give condolences to Charlie, and that's all I have tonight.
Thank you. Move on to trustees. Trustee Nero.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few things. I'd like to update first. We had a Public Safety Committee meeting before this meeting. The most exciting thing is we got to see our new ladder truck, which is a lot of fun to operate and really see front and center. So thank you, Chief, for that. Let's get through fire first. So we discussed our elevator program. We're going to be bringing our inspections back in-house rather than the state doing it. They're just too backlogged and can't keep up, and we can do it a little bit more efficiently. So we'll be doing that for all the 185 elevators in town. Next thing we talked about is the siren at East Burlington at the Water Division. This was not budgeted, so we're looking at about a $25,000 cost to replace that. There's some issues going on there. We also discussed renewing of the Norcom contract. So we gave permission to the fire department to look at moving forward with that and then discussing the renewal with them. We got an update on the Addison Consolidated Dispatch Center. Everything's going well. We'll be moving into the new building November of this year. Had a successful kids camp in June. 28 kids went with no issues at all, and the businesses keep supporting it, so we thank them for that. And our August class is already full. Got a little update on the fire recovery program. To date, we've collected about $55,000 to $60,000. We expect more to come out of that. And we also got a little update on some potential staffing issues that may be coming around the corner that we might have to address as well. So that's it for fire. And then police, we recognize Detective Glenn, who is the Illinois Juvenile Officer of the Year. That's a good accomplishment for him. We talked about our new safe exchange zone that's located at the southeast corner of the police department, and this is where anybody can safely exchange items that they're selling online. At the police station, there's cameras and surveillance, and it's just more. A lot of people have been using it. It's a lot safer environment. I think we all hear the issues that are happening with some people selling things online. So I think that's a pretty innovative idea that the police department put together. We also got a reminder that the police department offers vacation watches. If any resident is leaving, going out of town on a nice vacation, you can let the police department know that you're going to be gone for a couple weeks, and they can keep an eye on your house. At least one exterior home check a day, which is a pretty nice service. Let's see, what else? A couple other things. We're actually going to be hiring a couple more police officers. We have a test date coming up August 26th. So if anybody's interested, residents or others, please check out information on our website for that testing date and make sure that you get involved. And then lastly, our Citizens Police Academy is September 27th. So all those that want to get involved, please check out the website for some more information. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Little.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to let everyone know that the next Administration Committee meeting will be in this room, August the 3rd at 4:30. Everyone's invited to come out and attend it. And the next thing is I wanted to let everybody know that we all know what next weekend is. It's the Taste of Westmont. It's 100% run by volunteers, and we are in need of people to come out and work a little bit in the beer tent, a little bit in the carnival, and I think that will put you all to good use. So if you would call the WSEC, the Special Events Office, and volunteer, they will certainly put you down on our calendar, and we'll make sure you get a T-shirt, if nothing else. Phone number there at the office is 630-829-9378. And if Larry would step up to the podium, I would ask him to read off all the exciting events that are coming our way.
Thank you, Trustee Little. Glenn, if we can get this on the overhead, we have an image of the inside of our brochure. But as Trustee Little mentioned, Taste of Westmont is next weekend, but it actually begins on Thursday. Thursday night is our Kids-a-Palooza, and so that's an evening in which the carnival is open, and there's a wristband special all night long from 5:30 to 9:30, and it's $20 for that, and so we definitely recommend people come out. There's actually wristband specials all weekend, so if you have children, there's lots of opportunities to save some money, and so we have wristbands specials on Saturday and then twice on Sunday. And of course, the food is one of the highlights of the entire weekend, and we have a couple of new vendors and/or returning vendors, so we'll mention those for sure. First, Amber Restaurant. This is probably the first time in about 10-plus years that they've been involved, and so we're very excited to have them back and offer what they have on their menu. Also, Dairy Queen is making a return, and it should be mentioned that they're under new ownership at this point, so it's actually new for them. And then also returning is our sister city Taste of Taiwan booth, with which Angela Yang is coordinating. But to round out our other food vendors returning, China Chef, absolutely delicious, Neat Kitchen and Bar, Papa Pacero's Taco Express, Tropical Snow, Uncle Bub's, and then, of course, the world-famous Chamber Lemon Shake-Ups, and then the Lions food booth, which, what are the Lions serving this year? I know there was corn.
We always do the corn on the cob, and
Sure.
usually somewhere between 2,500 and 3,000 ears. And then cheese sandwiches, baked potatoes, sweet potatoes, and hot dogs.
Excellent. Thank you. So lots of great food offerings, so definitely come out for that. The other highlight of the weekend, of course, is the free music. And so Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we have our main stage, which is free to the public. And on Friday night, we have the music of Jimmy Buffett, played by South of Disorder. And then we also have a band called Lava Rock, which if you go on Facebook, you might see a music video that we did locally. It included quite a few local celebrities. I think Clerk Simsky might have been involved with that. But a lot of fun if you check that out on Facebook. But they play the music of Led Zeppelin, Aerosmith, Van Halen, and AC/DC, and they nail it. They do it absolutely perfect. So come out on Friday night. On Saturday night, we have a band called Rico, and they're basically a Santana tribute band. And then the highlight of that evening is the Pink Floyd tribute. That music is actually performed by a local group called North of 8, and once again, they do an outstanding job. But that not only is the music, but it's also a light show. And then on Sunday is blues, so all day between 1 and 5 p.m. we have our Blues Jam and Muddy Waters Blues Tribute, but then at 6 p.m. we have Seventh Heaven, which is a very popular local band, so definitely invite people out for all of that. And then the final thing I wanted to mention is events like this would not be possible without our great sponsors, and so I'd like to just quickly list our corporate platinum and gold sponsors. Our corporate and platinum sponsors include Village of Westmont and the Westmont Auto Mile. Also new at this level is a Napleton Westmont Porsche, and so they're involved at that level of sponsorship, and then Neat Kitchen and Bar. And then our gold sponsors include Uncle Bub's, Westmont Park District, Kim Heller Realty, and Euclid Beverage. And that's all I have unless there's any questions.
Can I just add on to that we have wristband specials on Saturday from noon to 4 for $25, Sunday noon to 4 for $25, and then Sunday night from 5 to 8, $20 for a wristband. So these are really good deals. Your kids can ride all night long.
Thank you.
And turning it back to Steve real quick.
We had one more item I unfortunately forgot. Jill, do you mind coming up and telling us about the Richmond Education Garden? I hear there's a little update you're supposed to share. Thank you.
I had that note.
Oh, I'll take care of you.
Thank you, Trustee Nero. I'm very pleased to announce that Richmond Education Gardens was awarded a $10,000 grant from ComEd. So we're excited to be able to use that for our entry bridge. And I'm giving a tour to ComEd tomorrow at the gardens. So we're very eager to show it off. And then also just a reminder that the BP at 55th and Wilmette in Westmont will be donating a portion of their gas sales to Richmond Education Gardens in July. So feel free to shop local. Thank you.
That's all you have.
Thank you. That's all I have now.
That's
Sorry.
all I have.
All right, Trustee Barber.
Thank you, Mayor. Two things this evening. Westmont First is going to meet July 17th at the Westmont Library at 6 p.m. You're welcome to join us there for that meeting. And then I can finally announce that we have engaged the services of Fannie Moy, who is the lady that did the historical mural last year. She's going to agree to do the other 4 panels, which everybody's excited about because they'll have the perfect continuity, and we saw her level of expertise. So we're able to go forward with that. And then we have another Westmont resident that did apply, and I'm going to be contacting her to try to engage her in another project so that we can use her services here as well. And we'll be able to move forward with that. And I'll get the steering committee together, and we'll make a recommendation of what that could be to the committee, anniversary committee. And then hopefully we can proceed with actually an additional piece of quality artwork by our local talent.
And again, Trustee Barker, just in case someone's tuning in or someone doesn't really know about it, the stages represent, and where is that first mural at?
We've took the time frame and we broke it up into equal, kind of equal segments there. The first mural, because of its excellence, we had decided, and it was accepted, that we would move that mural to the library so that more people could see it, as opposed to being here in the other room in Village Hall. So it's on display at the library now, and these increments, what is it, Larry, about 30 years? 30-year spans. So this next one will cover our 20s, 30s, and 40s. 20s, 30s, and 40s. And she'll work with not only the Historical Society, but with the library, and get the right references in there so that it applies to our community. But just phenomenal. We're super excited. We'll have one here for unveiling on in around November 10th. So thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Addington.
A couple things. First, let me ask Jill Ziegler if she wants to come up and give us a little bit of update on what's happening with economic development. And while she's doing that, we did not meet yesterday. That meeting was canceled. We are going to meet next Wednesday morning, the 12th, in the room behind me here at 9 o'clock, and we will be talking about some of the updates to the sign ordinance that we've been working on the last couple of months. So we'll get more updates on what's happening with it, and hopefully there might be one other new project that will be coming forward. We'll know more in the next couple of days.
Correct.
So with that, you're on.
Thank you, Trustee Addington. Just a few updates. The natatorium is currently revising their engineering plans, and the revised subdivision plat will be coming back to the village board shortly for your approval. Aspired Living, the senior housing facility on 63rd Street, is moving along quickly. The contractors are working diligently on the interior and currently planting landscaping outside. BMW needed to revise their building location due to a sanitary district requirement. So those plans will likely be coming back to you, and we're currently reviewing those engineering changes now. The Portia subdivision plat will be before you tonight for approval, and they will be paying for and picking up their demo permit shortly. So you'll be seeing a lot of activity on Ogden Avenue, and the Oakmont Point redevelopment will be going before Planning and Zoning Commission in August, and then going to you for your approval. So if there's any
You got a
questions.
full plate.
We do. Thank you.
Thank you. That's it, sir.
Oh, thank you. Trustee Guzzo.
Thank you, Mayor. We had a Finance Committee meeting before this meeting, and we discussed funding options for our Public Works facility. Our Public Works facility is in dire need of being replaced. So we are looking at researching some funding options. Our next Finance Committee meeting will be August 3rd, 4 o'clock here. Everyone is welcome to attend. And then lastly, last weekend I received the Westmont Dining Guide. I'm sure everybody got it. It is a wonderful tool. It highlights all of our wonderful restaurants. Unfortunately, I left the house this morning. It's sitting on the counter. I was going to bring it in. But look through it. It's amazing. There's so many places that you don't realize until you look in here. It's like, oh yeah, that's there and that's there. So please utilize it. It's a great tool. Shop Westmont, dine Westmont, and that's all I have, Mayor.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move on. Items removed from the consent agenda. Does any board member like any of the items removed?
This one?
Which one is?
Proclamation. No, you just gonna read it.
Yeah, it's gonna, Seeing none, I'd ask Manager May to please read.
Consent agenda this evening. First, our village board minutes. Board to consider approving the minutes of the village board meeting held June 22nd, 2017. Next is finance ordinance number 5 in the amount of $910,131.72. We have purchase orders next. First purchase orders for Sternberg Lighting, $28,564. This is for the pedestrian light replacement at the depot platform. We actually already approved a purchase order for a different organization for the exact same work. We just learned that the billing needs to go through Sternberg, so this voids the other purchase order that was approved, assuming approval tonight. Second purchase order, KLF Enterprises, $57,765. That's for the raising or the demolition of the structures on the 400 block of North Warwick. Next is DUMEG. It's the annual contribution in the amount of $20,280. Last purchase orders, Bradford Westmont, 1 LLC, in the amount of $315,000, and this is the developer's note repayment. The total of those purchase orders is $421,609, and brings the total of the purchase orders in finance ordinance number 5 to $1,331,740.72. Last on the consent agenda is the proclamation honoring Diane Main. And I could read the proclamation, or we can do it separately. I mean, that completes the consent agenda, unless you would like it read.
I'd say go, why don't you read it for us? If you don't mind.
Not at all. Proclamation honoring Diane Main. Whereas Diane Main has resided in Westmont for 45 years and has served Westmont through extensive community involvement for 4 decades. And whereas Diane Main and her husband Bob have raised their 3 children in Westmont and been active in the lives of their 7 grandchildren. And whereas Diane Main has served as an elected official on the Westmont Park Board for almost 40 years. And whereas the Westmont Park District has experienced tremendous growth during Diane's tenure, helping the Westmont Park District serve our community with 32 acres of park in 1978 to 137 acres today. And whereas Diane Main has played a key role in the development of Ty Warner Park, Twin Lake Golf Course, Twin Lakes Woods, Westmont Skate Park, Ty Warner Splash Park, Westmont Senior Center, in addition to 15 parks throughout Westmont. And whereas Diane Main has served as a volunteer in the community in numerous capacities, such as being a Girl Scout leader, a Eucharistic minister for her church, delivering communion to homebound parishioners on weekends, a coordinator for church retreats, and more. And whereas Diane Main has served as Park Board Treasurer, volunteering her time and talent to lobby for grants for which the Park District has received over $3 million in cumulative grants from the state. And whereas Diane Main has been the Westmont Park District Board President since 2014, whereas Diane Main has elected and served in the role of President of the Illinois Association of Park Districts to support the success of the Westmont Park District, and whereas Diane Main has endured personal adversity with grace, her passion for the Park District and the community has never waned. Therefore, Ronald J. Gunter, by virtue and the authority vested in him as the mayor of Westmont, along with the Westmont Village Board of Trustees, do hereby proclaim that Diane Main be honored for her dedication and support of the Village of Westmont, and present her the key to the village to affirm that she will always be entrusted as a leader and advocate for our community.
Thank you.
I would be honored to make a motion to approve.
Second?
Motion been made and seconded to approve the consent agenda. On the question. Only thing I would add is that for Diane Main, it was done with no compensation, because they can't, Park Board commissioners cannot receive any compensation. So she truly did it for the love of the community. So I'd ask for a roll call, please.
Trustee Addington?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes. Okay, moving on the agenda, we'll move on to public hearing. Fiscal year 2017-2018 appropriations ordinance. Board to conduct a public hearing for fiscal year 2017-2018 appropriations ordinance. And I've got Finance Director Parker.
Thank you, Mayor. So as the board's aware, this is the next step in our annual process. So we started off with the budget, which is the plan of what we're actually planning to spend for the year. And then at this point, we adopt the total amount we can legally spend this year through the appropriation ordinance. So the first step of that tonight is to have a public hearing to allow the public to be able to comment on it. And then later on the agenda, you'll see the approval for the board to approve the appropriations ordinance. So the total appropriations ordinance, as included in the draft of the packet, is for $82,144,131. And as we talked about at the prior joint library and board meeting, this includes the library's appropriation as passed by their board. And Library Director Julia Cohen is here to answer any questions, if any of the public have any questions regarding the library portion of the appropriations ordinance.
So at this point, I'm going to call to order the public hearing on that. So the public hearing's open. Is there anybody in the audience who has a question about the appropriation ordinance? I'm looking at you, Bill. No. All right, seeing none, I will close the public hearing. We'll get to that later on then in the agenda. Moving on to new business. 20 North Cass, Johnny's Blitz. Board to consider an ordinance approving a downtown development grant request in the amount of $8,000 from John Disaki in the B1 Limited Business District, and Director Ziegler.
Thank you, Mayor. The new bar and restaurant is requesting grant assistance with the costs of updating their building facade and installing new life safety infrastructure improvements. This includes the masonry on the front of the building, new front doors, removal of the old awning, a new sign, mosaic tiles on the facade, and then they are also updating their electric in the inside and installing sprinkler and fire alarms. The exterior facade is eligible for $5,000. Life safety are eligible for a matching up to $3,000. And with this, there would be $10,000 left in the facade grant for this year and $12,000 left in the life safety funds. Per the board's direction, businesses must be open for a year prior to the funds being released after approval. And Mr. Disaki is here, and I'm also available for any questions.
I have a motion to approve.
Move Guzzo.
Second, Barker.
Motion made and second to approve. On the question. Does have anything? No. Again, we have implemented in this fiscal year the year period, but if we approve it, it'll be there.
I had a question.
Yes.
The life safety improvements, was that a whole new fire safety system, or was that a rehab, a
It was a new sprinkler system.
new sprinkler?
Any additional? Anybody in the audience? No. Seeing none, I'd ask for a roll call, please.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Motion passes. The only thing I'd say, if you'd like to come up and maybe tell us when we can expect those burgers to start cooking.
There you go. Thank you so much. We started the demo actually late after we get the permits, sometime in March. And as I promised you, about 120 days. I'm shooting for, hopefully, if all goes well this month, we'll be looking at mid-August to serve at least a soft opening. So that's what we're shooting for. If things change, I will let some of you know, but I'm very hopeful.
Well, we're looking forward to the boards coming down.
And in a couple of days, a week or so, you're gonna see the wood gone, and you're gonna see the facade take shape. And
Yay.
thank you so much for approving this. It really will help. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, moving on, the new business to B, 201 and 209 East Ogden Avenue, the final plat consolidation. Board to consider an ordinance approving a final plat of consolidation request for Napleton, Westmont, Porsche in the B2 General Business District. And we, Director Ziegler.
Thank you, Mayor. The previous plats of subdivision for the two properties are being vacated and the two lots are being consolidated. Final engineering is now complete, and the site and landscaping plans were previously approved by the village board last year. Portia is very eager to get started with their demo permit, and I'm available for any questions.
I have a motion.
Motion to approve, Little?
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve as presented. On the question, anybody in the audience? Seeing none, then we'll ask for roll call.
Trustee Little,
Yes.
trustee Barker,
Yes.
trustee Nero,
Yes.
trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
New business C, fiscal year 2017-2018 appropriations ordinance. Board to consider an ordinance adopting the fiscal year 2017-2018 appropriation ordinance. And Director Parker.
As noted before, this is the final step for approving the appropriation. At this point, we'll then file it with the county and then use it as part of our process for property taxes when we get to that point this fall. I'm open for any questions.
Do I have a motion?
So move Guzzo. Second, Little?
Motion made and seconded. Any questions? Anybody got a question for the library? No? Okay. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Nero,
Yes.
trustee Barker,
Yes.
trustee Little,
Yes.
trustee Addington.
Yes.
Motion passes. Miscellaneous. Is there any items that, Trustee Barker?
Just like to make a comment. You know, we had that meeting, combined meeting with the library last week. That was excellent, very informative to everybody. And good idea, Mayor. Let's keep those going.
I think next one will be with the Park District, so.
Do you have a date with that?
I think Steve was
I don't
working.
even know about it yet, so
That's even better, right? Well, just walk in.
I'm gonna go through Diane Main and she'll make sure that
Yeah. Well, no, I thought it was great. Thank
It
you.
was, very good.
The only thing I wanted to add too was that leaving the park the other night ran the smoothest I believe it's ever run. Once we all got all our stuff loaded in our cars, but it ran very
Well,
smoothly.
that's our police, fire, and EMA.
And, yeah,
all
and they
have-
did a great job.
They give up their force to provide that type of service for us.
And we thank you for it.
Anybody else?
One comment, I'm going to miss the next board meeting, be out of town. But Kevin Carrera from my office, who's attended previous meetings, will be here in my place.
Very good. Seeing no other, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Little?
Second, Nero.
Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn the meeting. Roll call, please.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Very good. This, encourage everyone to go outside and enjoy the street fair. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
I'm gonna go watch our